Unlike the gardens where the aristocrats enjoyed strolling around, the proper way to enjoy Karesansui Gardens is to look at it from one point. Minasan konnichiwa, and welcome to Let's Ask Shogo. One of the representative traditional cultures in Japan is surely the Nihon Teien Japanese gardens. I'm sure you're hoping to see them when you visit Japan, maybe at famous temples or shrines. But did you know that Japanese gardens are not just one thing, and there are actually several categories of them, depending on the era they were made? So today, I will explain about the 5 kinds of Japanese gardens that were born in different time periods. The 5 kinds of gardens were all created for various purposes and have different philosophies behind the art. So I hope you can enjoy watching this video till the end. By watching this video, not only will you be able to deepen your understanding towards Japanese history, but we'll also get to know about the places you can go to in Japan to see each kind of garden. Even the oldest kinds of gardens that were born about a millennium ago still exist in Japan. After watching this video, please let me know in the comments which era had your favorite Japanese garden. In this channel, you can take a closer look at Japanese traditional culture, tips on traveling to Kyoto, and social problems in Japan. So learners and lovers of Japanese language and culture, be sure to subscribe to enjoy more content. それでは本日も日本庭園を冒険してまいりましょう。1. The capital and gardens, Asuka and Nara periods. It is said that the culture of gardens were first introduced to Japan about 1,400 years ago. One of the oldest documents in Japan, Nihon Shoki, states that it was built by people from the country of the Korean peninsula. When one of the very first capitals was built in Nara Prefecture in 710, a large garden was also constructed. An artificial water flow that replicated a river and waterfall in natural ponds was created, and the stone decorations around it were placed using their original positions as much as possible. The Japanese garden as we imagine today may have already existed from this time. 2. Aristocrats and gardens, Heian period. About 100 years after the capital was established in Nara, it was moved to Kyoto, and this was the beginning of the Heian period. Until then, the location of the capital was not well defined, and it moved from place to place. But it finally stabilized in this era, making Kyoto the home of the emperor for more than 1,000 years. At that time, it became popular among emperors and aristocrats to create large gardens with mountain views in places slightly away from the urban areas. During this period, gardens played a strong role in entertaining guests, and aristocrats would often hold ceremonies and social gatherings where they would float boats on the pond and compose poems. Sounds pretty rich and noble, right? From around the middle of the Heian period, the Buddhist concept of the last days of Buddhism spread, and people believed that the world would soon stumble into chaos. Out of fear of this concept, gardens were built to recreate the world of heavens. One of the most famous of these gardens is Byodo-in Houou-do, which is the building on the back of a 10-yen coin. Since Japan accepted Buddhism for the centralization of power in the 6th century, all the aristocrats believed in it and especially had a very strong influence during this period. 3. Zen and gardens, Kamakura and Muromachi periods. From the 12th century onward, the samurai warriors replaced the aristocracy as the next ruler of Japan. This is because the samurai, who were originally merely bodyguards of the aristocrats, came to be perceived as a symbol of the nobleman's authority. The aristocrats started to give their samurai too much power, thus leading to them ruling Japan themselves. In the age of the samurai, new Zen-niwa, Zen gardens were created, incorporating the Zen philosophy that was newly introduced from the Chinese continent at that time. Zen gardens have a very different role from that of the gardens of the aristocrats. They were a place for training. Therefore, it is very personal and is mainly located in a somewhat secluded part of the temple grounds. Some Zen gardens have ponds, while others only use stones and sand without any water to express the vastness of nature of the ocean and waterfalls. This is the famous Kare-sansui garden, and I'm sure you've seen these rows of sand at least once. The stone represents the harshness and the strength of nature, while the sand represents simplicity, tranquility, and the purity and clearness, which is the beauty of wabi-sabi. Unlike the gardens where the aristocrats enjoyed strolling around, the proper way to enjoy Kare-sansui gardens is to look at it from one point. Empty your mind as much as possible and spend some time looking at the contrast between the white of the stones and the green of the plants, the patterns of the sand and the numerous stones, and ask yourself the meaning and message behind the space. By the way, the reason why the Kare-sansui gardens became popular was because Kyoto was devastated by the Oni War, an 11-year civil war in the late Muromachi period, which was fought over the succession of shoguns. They required gardens that could be built in a smaller piece of land with a lower budget. This war led to the Muromachi shogunate to lose its power and entering the Sengoku War period, when powerful warlords from all over Japan fought for the next supremacy. 4. Tea ceremony and gardens. Azuchi Momoyama period. As the Muromachi shogunate lost power and entered the Sengoku War period, the tea ceremony started to influence the culture of gardens. It was Sen no Rikyu who greatly changed the formal culture of the tea ceremony, which had been practiced by the samurai. He developed the concept of wabi-cha, which incorporates the idea of art and goodness that has been handed down to the present day. The Sansenke Ryuha styles, which is practiced by many people, including myself, is the form of tea ceremony that his descendants still carry on today. Sen no Rikyu created a new garden called the Roji Tea Garden. The garden is very practical for holding tea ceremonies, with evenly spaced stones for guests to walk on, a waiting area for guests to wait for the signal to enter the room, and a stone basin to purify oneself and one's mind before entering the tea room. In addition, in order to elevate the tea ceremony to a special time separated from the real world, the trees, plants, and buildings are arranged specifically so that even though the tea garden is located in the city, you will feel as if you are in a mountain village. Whenever I take part in tea ceremonies and actually sit down in the waiting area of a tea garden, it feels as if the gardens extends a tremendous distance across the vast horizon. Many people often ask me, what is wabi-sabi? But by visiting a tea garden, you can experience it with your body. 5. Daimyo and gardens, Edo period. As the long Sengoku War period finally came to an end and the peaceful Edo period began, a new type of garden was born that incorporated all the forms of popular gardens in the past. It is a Kaiyu-shiki teien, a circular garden that combined the features of a garden with the ponds and scenery that the Heian aristocrats loved. Kare-sansui that incorporates the Zen philosophy, which was popular among the samurai, and tea gardens that make you forget the bustle of the city and take you to a different world. The garden is designed in such a way that the scenery keeps changing as you walk through it. Every aspect of the garden, including the pathways, the view outside, the view from the pond, the sound of the water flowing, has its own meaning. For this reason, these type of gardens were greatly favored by the well-educated aristocrats and samurai. So, I've introduced the 5 kinds of Japanese gardens to you. But again, as I explained in the beginning, if you are interested in actually visiting these gardens in Japan, please take a look at the description box to the links to each garden's website. Then lastly, today's conclusion. I introduced the 5 different kinds of Japanese gardens that were born in separate time periods. 1. The capital and gardens, Asuka and Nara periods. The culture of gardens was first introduced to Japan about 1,400 years ago from Korea. When the capital was built in Nara Prefecture in 710, a large garden that was the origin of Japanese gardens was built. 2. Aristocrats in gardens, Heian period. During this period, it became popular among emperors and aristocrats to create large gardens with ponds to entertain their guests. 3. Zen and gardens, Kamakura and Muromachi periods. The beginning of the samurai rule gave birth to the Zen gardens, which were meant for training one's mind. The famous Kare-sansui gardens use only stones and sand without any water to express the vastness of nature of oceans and waterfalls. 4. Tea ceremony and gardens, Azuchi, Momoyama period. Sen no Rikyu, who completed the tea ceremony culture we have today, created a new form of gardens for holding tea ceremonies. These gardens are very practical with multiple functions and are precisely designed so that it makes you feel as if you're in a mountain village. 5. Daimyo and gardens, Edo period. In the peaceful Edo period, a new type of garden was born that incorporated all the garden forms that have been popular in the past. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. If this video helped you to deepen your understanding towards Japanese gardens, please hit the like button to help me boost this video to more people. Our goal is to achieve 1 million subscribers by January 2023, so your help would mean a lot. And please check out our sub-channel and membership through the link inside the description box. Thanks again, and I'll see you in my next video. どうもありがとうございました。So before I completely end this video, I just wanted to say that the definitions of each garden is actually quite ambiguous. It seems I've actually read a few books and read a few websites of the gardens, but the categories actually can change depending on who you ask. So some people say that the final Kaiyushiki Teien, the circular gardens, have existed from a much earlier time in history. So it's, I believe if you look up a different information, they might tell you different things. Yes, that's one thing I wanted to say. And the second thing, my personal favorite garden, the Japanese garden in Kyoto where I live, is definitely the Ryoan-ji Temple, which is actually one of the Zen gardens in Japan.